Boy, I'm excited about today's selection. We're doing pulled pork barbecue. And let me just tell you this right now. This is a chunk of meat. This is going to feed some people. Or you'll be able to put it up for later. But this is one of the most easiest things to start out smoking than anything else, I believe. This is the most forgiving piece of meat. So if you're starting out smoking and you've never done it before, start with this because you can't go wrong. Let's get going and talk about it some more. So where I'm at, I can find this stuff for about 99 cents a pound on sale sometimes. So you can feed a lot of people with a little bit of money. And once you start doing it yourself, I promise you, going to the barbecue joint will be a thing of the past. So let's cut this open and season it up and get it ready. First thing we want to do is just trim off a little bit of this fat. Just clean it up a little bit. This one's already trimmed pretty nice, but I'm going to just shave it up just a little bit, get some of this off. It's not much that needs to come off of this one. And just try to clean it up a little bit here. You want to leave a little bit on there so it'll get into the meat and give it some good moisture and things like that. This one looks good. Now what I just do is I just cut some little cross sections here like this. And that'll open up. Don't have to worry about it and finesse it too much. It's just fine. The main thing with these is just getting the seasoning on them and getting the smoke on them in the smoker. So, all right, that looks good to me. So what I do is I got some all-purpose seasoning here. It's got like salt, pepper, garlic powder. This is Killer Hogs, great product, and you'll want to use it sparingly. It's going to be just fine, I promise you. You're not going to over season this chunk of meat. I mean, you'll think that you are, but you're not. You want to get all the sides. And some people use a binder like mustard or something. I've tried that, and the seasoning sticks just fine because the meat is moist, and so I don't use it. It's just, like I said, I can't tell a big difference one way or the other. So anyway, so I got a good base layer of salt, pepper, garlic on there. And now what I like to do is put this Kinder's wood fire blend. You can use whatever seasoning you like. There's a lot of them out there. These are just the ones I like, and just gives it a good flavor. And I put this on there. Put it on. Don't, like I said, don't be afraid. Just get it on there good and thick. And you'll be able to feed some friends with this. Now I'm telling you, this particular one's going to a church function this weekend, and I know that it's going to feed a lot of people, so putting a little love in this one. But yeah, if you got friends coming over or something, for the price, you can't beat this. And like I said, when I first started smoking meat, I thought it was some kind of inherited special gift to be able to smoke meat. I thought only certain people could do that, like at the restaurants or the pit masters or something like that. And I bought like one of the cheapest smokers I could find, and I figured, well, I'm at least going to give it a try. You know what? Hey, I'm happy with it. So the last thing I put on it is the smoked paprika. I love this stuff on about everything, but I just like the nice color and it gives it, and the smoky flavor. I like that. Of course, it's going to be in smoke already, but we just season it up and do this. When I'm smoking meat like this, I always do this the night before. I'll put it in a big old Ziploc, and then first thing in the morning, maybe before daylight, whenever I wake up, it's going on the smoker, and it's already prepared. All I gotta do is get it on there. So now I'll move it around on this board to get some of the excess seasoning on there. This is a 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag, hefty bag, or whatever you want to call it. We're gonna put this right inside, and it'll be ready in the morning. All right, she's going to bed, putting her in the bottom of the fridge till in the morning. I'm out here by the trusty old barrel. She's got this, she's smoking right along. I got up about 4 o'clock this morning to get the meat on here because it takes a good bit of time to smoke that big a chunk of meat. But let me just talk to you about smoking. I've got this little drum smoker. I enjoy using this. It's called a pit barrel cooker. You can use anything you want to use. The main thing about smoking meat is this: getting the meat to a certain temperature and stopping. And of course you want to use some good fuel. I've got Kingsford in this with some cherry chunks, and that cherry gives it a good flavor. And I'm gonna put a chart. I'll put it right here for a second of different pairings of what foods go with certain wood to smoke with. I'll put a link to something like that in the bottom. But yeah, it's real simple. And the hardest part about this deal right here is waiting till it's done. Now listen, I don't normally open this up, but I'm going to today just to give you a little sneak peek inside. I have a Chef IQ thermometer in here, and it tells the temperature of the drum and inside the meat. I know the meat right now is about 170 degrees, which is moving right on up. And then for pulled pork, I like to hit about 203. 203's been working really well for me. It shreds right apart. It's still juicy and tender, and it's delicious. So let me show you inside right quick. All right, I'm pulling the lid off. You can see it there, looking good, looking good. They got a nice little bark on it. Hey, yeah, but there's an old saying, if you're looking, it ain't cooking. So I'm gonna put this lid back on, and we'll finish this up and take it in and shred it. And I know there's a lot of debate on whether does the fat cap go up or does it go down. You know what? At the end of the day, you're still gonna have pulled pork. Normally I put mine down, but this morning I think I was half asleep and I just stuck it in there any old way, so I put it up this time. And that's all right. I don't think it makes that big of a difference either way. People overcomplicate this stuff, I promise you. If I can do this, you can make barbecue and it'll be delicious too. So we'll get this finished up and I'll show you the finished product. Oh yes, the time we've all been waiting for. This has been pulled off the smoker. It hit an internal temperature of 203 and it's been resting for about an hour now. It's still real hot, I promise you that. I just put some foil over it and put it in this pan. So let's take a little sneak peek at it and move on. Wait a minute, before we do, I need to tell you about a few little tips here. These are some tips that you might want to know that I've learned through the process of doing it wrong. If you can get you some of these cheapo cotton gloves, there's a link down there in the bottom. It's an affiliate link to Walmart. I'll show you what kind to get. It's easy, they're cheap, they don't cost much. Get you some of those and get you some of these latex gloves or some kind of protective glove here. And what we're going to do is put these on first. Now this, like I said, that's still real hot, and we're going to be pulling it, and this prevents you from being burnt up. Now I know a lot of people like using the forks and they'll get the claws and all that stuff. I just prefer to play with my food for a little bit. How's that? But I think this is and this works great because it's insulated. You can handle, when I pulled it off the smoker earlier, I just reached in there with these gloves on, picked it up, set it in this pan. I wasn't finagling with a couple different spatulas and things like that. So, all right, let's get it out of here. All right, here we are. You can see those juices where it's been resting. It's relaxed a little bit, and best of all is where I can handle it. And you see the bone is still in it, so we're gonna pull that out and move right along. And it should just slide right out. I mean, just without much effort, with the meat coming right off of it. Nice clean bone, so we'll set that aside. And I did double check it with my instant read thermometer before I started letting it rest. Like I said, I trust my other probes, but it's always good to double check it. 203, that's really the only way you can kind of not mess, I mean, that's really the only kind of way you can mess this up, is just to undercook it and it won't pull right. And so anyway, and the next thing to do is just reach in here and just start squeezing and squishing, and I try to look for any kind of slimy like membrane or whatever, but there's like a little membrane in there sometimes, or some things that you don't want to eat. And if it's a real big gob of fat or something, I might take that out, but I leave a lot of the fat cap in there. This part here, I'll just break it up and put it in there. While I'm pulling this apart, you know, I've been smoking meat now for about probably about 2-3 years, and every time I do it, I learn something a little different. But it's pretty much just, the big thing is cooking the temp, and so if you can master that, and the patience, it's about the patience, because we're so accustomed to, I want it now, I want it yesterday, and I want it my way. So at least this way you can make it your way. And look at all this food. Now, like I said, this is for a church function, so I'm going to be sharing this with a lot of people. But if I was making this just for us, this is going to last. We'll eat on this probably four times, and we'll invite some friends over sometimes and share with them. But it goes a long ways, and I'll divide it out and prep it up in bags and freeze it, and you got delicious barbecue for a while. So when I get it good and separated, I do one little extra touch, and it's optional, but the seasonings that we use to rub it with, I'm going to put a little more inside of it here, and it's basically just what I was using earlier, but we're going to sprinkle a little of this in there and then mix it up in it, and that just gives it a little enhanced flavor and a little saltiness. So there, we've got that going, and it's getting close to the texture that I like it. But I do one little extra thing whenever I'm doing this. I'll hit it with one of these here for just a little bit. So I'll just kind of not going crazy, but I will just kind of push it in there a little bit and chop it up some. This is one thing I'm glad I learned how to cook, because I've always loved, there's a couple things. This is one of them. The other is pizza. And when I figured out how to make keto pizza, I was so tickled. The best thing about barbecue is it works. Any kind of grilling works great with the keto diet. So that's a blessing for me, that I can still have all the yummy barbecue grilled food that I enjoy and still be on keto. And usually I'll pair this with some green beans or something simple like that. And also, you can get you a couple chaffles, make you some barbecue sandwiches. Oh man, take on a good picnic. And there we have our final product. Delicious pulled pork barbecue. It started out we started out with about 9 pounds. I think we're down, I don't know what this weighs now, but it's going to be enough to go around. And it did take pretty much all day to cook, and that's all right. Some things are worth waiting on. Now let's give this thing a taste test and make sure everything's just right. All right, it's taste test time. And so I've got me a pinch of it here, and I'm going to test it out, make sure it's good. Oh man, my goodness. I'm telling you, friends, when you start making this at home, the days of going to the barbecue joint's over. And it's hard to top it at home. And I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying that's good barbecue. Very simple, very easy. Hey, until next time, and invite you some friends over. Tell them I helped you cook some barbecue this weekend.